Hey guys, welcome to Mad Scientist BBQ. I'm Jeremy Yoder. Today we're doing something extra special. We are going to be cooking a whole hog. It's a suckling pig, actually. So it's not huge. This one's about 35 pounds, and we're going to be cooking it with open fire on the Odin Pro. Like, what's more primal than that? Nothing. So I'm going to go get that pig. Uh, 37.5 pounds. Whole suckling pig. Let's open this up. It is time to remove the hog. Oh. Ta-da! Okay, so here we have our suckling pig. Looks really nice, but in order to fit it in the meat cage and in order for it to kind of cook at the same rate all the way through, we're gonna have to split it in half. Now, normally people use a saw for this. I don't have a saw, but I do have this knife. Hopefully I can make it work. So I'm gonna flip this over and see what we have to do to this backbone to get this thing to lie flat, or as close as we can get to it. So normally they want these legs tied together because they're gonna put it in, say, a rotisserie or something like that, and they want it to look that way for presentation purposes. Because we're doing this asador style, we're gonna be doing it in that cage. So we're gonna take these strings and cut them. Step one. I appreciate the effort, folks, but in this case, it is unneeded. Wonder if we can kind of cut on the side of the spine instead of getting a saw and trying to get in there. All right, we have this guy mostly flat. I kind of separated the ribs along the spine and cut so that everything will get as flat as we can make it here. I'm gonna get the cage and put it on. Once I make sure that we can get it on the cage, then we're gonna season it up. But before I do that, I gotta light a fire, because with open fire, you're not gonna get very far without a fire. So I'm gonna do that right now. All right, guys, so after a lot of working, even more sweating, and mumbling some words under my breath, figured it out. So it's looking good. I'm gonna lock it in place with this piece of metal right here. So this part locks in the back, and then the front locks in with this piece of metal. I'll just show you guys the way it works. So you bring it back here, you select the height that you want. You're gonna wanna go a little lower than you think you need, and then you lock it in like that, and the pressure you create over here, then now it's locked in. Rock and roll. There we go. So now that I got it all locked in, I have the head because I don't want the ears to be crushed. I kind of want them to look nice and get nice and dark. It's possible that we may readjust this at a later point, but I don't think so. I kind of like the way it is right now. And then yeah, now I'm just gonna salt it. So super simple. The best whole hog I've ever had was seasoned with only salt. And then afterward, as the meat was getting chopped, you can add a few other things and it makes a tremendous sandwich. But super simple. I feel like I could just sweat on this thing for about 30 seconds. That'd be enough salt, but I will not do that. All right, so now just a heavy dose of kosher salt on both sides. Kosher salt, which is ironic considering what I'm cooking, but it will work very well. So this is a whole animal, so we can go pretty heavy. We're not gonna inject, we're not gonna do anything crazy. We're gonna let the smoke and the heat and the flavor of the pork in combination with the salt all work together kind of harmoniously. We're not gonna be doing anything super crazy. We just don't wanna go too heavy on the ribs. On the hams, we can go heavy with the salt. On the shoulders, we can go heavy with the salt. And then also on the skin everywhere, I'm gonna make sure I get plenty of salt on the skin. It's gonna help dry it out, get it crispy, and the salt on the skin will fall off if there's too much. Okay, oops, a little bit much there. It'll be all right. I ain't worried about it. Let's see if I can flip this guy. If he falls on the ground, I'm gonna be so upset. Oh, gosh. Let's move this guy back a little bit. Oh. Then a heavy dose of salt on the skin side. And the skin, I'm telling you guys right now, the skin is the best part if this is done properly. You know, this isn't a big pig, but this is not light. Okay, so we have it on an angle here, and we just got a fire, and we're gradually going to increase the heat as we go. We're going to start spreading coals here at the bottom as the coals form, so we get even heat from the bottom to the top. The top's going to be heated mostly by the flame that's below it here, and the bottom is going to be heated mostly by the coals. So the more coals I add, the faster the bottom is going to cook, and then the bigger the flame, the faster the top is going to cook. But you want to gently get into it. I'm cooking a whole pig with an open fire in my backyard. I got to tell you, feels good to be a redneck. Okay guys, we're about 5 hours in and we're starting to get really nice browning on the skin side, and the way we're cooking this hog is we're going kind of heating layer by layer going through. And so when the heat reaches the other side, then we know, okay, it's time to turn this thing and get it finished off. But until then, we're trying to do moderate heat, so we want good browning, but we don't want to burn anything. Now, the real wizards, the way they do this is all by feel. So Al will take his hand, put it in front and feel it and be like, that's right. And then what he does for the back side, so in this case the meat side, not the skin, is he actually takes his fingers and puts it on the meat. When he starts to feel heat coming all the way through, he knows that it's time to flip the thing around and finish it off. I'm not going to do that, but what I will do is I'll use my thermopen and see if it's hot enough there. All right, at this point, this backside, the meat side, is just over 100 degrees. I think I want it to get a little bit warmer. When I touch it with my fingers, it feels warm, but not warm like it's cooking. So probably another hour like this, I think. And one cool thing we're seeing is that this meat side, you're actually starting to see it turn red because there's smoke around. So you're getting some smoke flavor in there too. Let me show you guys what I've been doing with these fires. So I've been building a fire out here. The flames are heating up this top part. And then I move coals closer to manage the heat. So I'm going to deconstruct this fire a little bit. It's going to get a little smoky for a minute, but that's okay. And then I distribute the coals with the shovel. Move them a little closer. Even that's hot. And then lastly, I reconstruct the fire, and then I make small adjustments with the coals with these tongs. Okay, so I think we're going to check back in about an hour, flip this guy over, finish it off, and then we're going to see how the maiden voyage of a suckling pig goes on this pit. All right, guys, 6 hours in, and we have this beautiful golden color on the skin side. And so we're going to turn it around to the meat side and get this thing finished off. And then very last, we're going to flip it over to the skin side one more time to make sure it's nice and crispy. And then we get to try this out. Go to your home. For you. You're good for your home. Move down some coals. So the smell is starting to be really, really good. And for anybody wondering, we're using oak and hickory. And we're gonna let this go just like this. After we've distributed coals and kind of built up a new fire, we're probably gonna let it go for another hour. and then we're going to check back in, start taking some temps, and see if it's ready to be finished off. All right, we're about 8 hours in. I just flipped this hog back around to the skin side. We're only gonna do that for about 15 minutes to make sure it stays nice and crisp, because while we were heating the meat side, that got all crispy, that got great color, all that stuff, but I don't want the skin to get soggy while we're waiting around. So 15 minutes with that radiant heat should do the trick. Then we're gonna get it off, put it on here, let it rest as long as I can stand, and then we're gonna tear into it and see how it is. Guys, it has been a long, hot day, but I think we are finally done. I'm going to grab this meat cage, I don't know what else to call it, and get it over here and get this thing off. Let's take a look. Oh, that's very hot. All right. Oh, that's hot. Whew. I'm also glad I have this leather apron right about now. Sorry. My wife gets sad when I make pig noises with this little pig. Let's take a peek at this guy now. All right, all right, all right. That looks so good. That looks amazing. For all you guys who are wondering if we got crispy skin, so it's like we have pulled pork and chicharrones. This is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna give this, I should give this a while, but I'm gonna give this as long as I can stand. Listen to that, Erica. For those of you who are wondering what the temperatures are, I have to say I don't actually know. But we're gonna find out right now. So in the hams back here, we're looking at 190. Right in the middle of the back here, looking at 196. The shoulder, 188. The shoulder, 184. This ham, 193. So we're hovering around between 185 and 195. It's been on there for a while, and I think, I mean, it feels like I could just tear the shoulder off. But I'm gonna cover this up with some foil, and we're gonna eat real good real soon. This is awesome. I'm gonna cut out kind of a rib section here, and we're gonna start there and sample our way through this hog. And lastly, today is the last day to enter to win that Odin Pro. There haven't been a ton of people who've entered, so if you've been thinking about it, now is the time. It helps support the channel, it helps to support a small veteran-owned business, and it's a really cool way to get a really cool smoker. Just go to go.getenteredtowin.com/Mad Scientist BBQ, or click on the link in the description. Today is the last day at midnight. It is over. All your chances are gone, and right now you got a really good chance. So, with all that being said, click on that link. I'm gonna cut into this. Oh, that's a good sound. Cutting through. Woo! Oh. You hear it cutting through the skin? I don't do ASMR, but that is some ASMR quality stuff right there. What the whirl? I think I separated it all. Oh. Yeah. You think that's juicy, guys? It's like milking a cow. Just whoosh, give it a squeeze, and there it falls. Wow. This looks so good. Oh. By the way, guys, Erica just got really excited because she realized that the skin is going to be like the hoodoo brown, crispy skin pork belly. And I got a little triangle of skin right here that I'm going to give to my wife because I'm a good man. There you go.
Oh my God.
I know. Okay, what do I eat first? I don't even know, man. I'm going to go with this loin right here. Let's see if it's tender. I think it's tender. And it is juicy. That's freaking hard to do. Here we go. Oh, man. Woo. Erica, I think this is the best thing I've ever made in my life.
That pork skin was definitely one of the best things you've ever made.
Dude, it's so good.
Let me taste.
This?
Mm-hmm.
This is the loin. It's usually flavorless. But
Oh my God.
I know.
How did salt get all the way in there?
Long cook time. That is so freaking good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and guys, it's like if you wanted to make the world's greatest pulled pork sandwich, it pulls. You can chop. I mean,
So good.
now I'm kind of wondering to myself, why haven't I been making pork butts for years to do pulled pork when this just seems like a far superior method? And you chop up the skin with the pork and you have like these crunchy bits of magicness. The government wants to keep you from cooking whole hogs. They don't want you to know the truth. They're cooking it all together. It's going to be far superior. I have the documents from the officials. It's guaranteed this is the best way to do it. Look at the loin. The loin is like the leanest part of the whole animal. Look at this loin. Looks good, right? But when you take a bite, all of this stuff comes out. Like, do you see all of that? Just unbelievable. Next, I'm going to see if we can get some of the skin off. All right. So you guys can see I made the skin crispy, rendered the fat underneath the skin. So each of these is like, imagine the world's greatest potato chip and then make it better, and you're close. Hopefully you guys can hear this. Oh my goodness. Erica, come try this. Right? Right?
So good.
Is there a better bite in barbecue? If you guys are wondering if this thing got tender, I know it didn't go to 203 degrees like a brisket, but I think this will work, but we'll see. Okay? So, yeah. I just tore out 3 ribs. Sorry, little guy. But yeah, this thing can just, come apart. Tore out some more loin, and it's just juicy. Unbelievable. We see some steam. We got some loin. We have this kind of chicharron on the outside. Oh. The salt on the inside, salt on the outside. Crunch, flavor, goodness. Man. Oh, that is so freaking good. Now, we're going to feed our neighbors too, so I don't want to just completely destroy this thing. Because when you do something like this, you got to have other people around. It's got to be more than just you eating it. It is incredible even if it's just you, and I wouldn't even blame you if you did that, but I don't want to destroy the whole thing. Maybe I'll try something. I'll try the hams and see if that's juicy, because if that's juicy, everything else is going to be amazing. So, let's see here. Okay, yeah, that's good. The ham is juicy. Let's see if it's tender. Eat it with a piece of skin. Unbelievable. So good. I think this might be the best thing I've ever made, and this was the first attempt at doing a hog on the Odin Pro. I could not have been more pleased. If I could go back and change anything, I think I would have done maybe fewer coals right here next to the hams, because this skin kind of poofed up a little bit, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I wanted that real thin, real crispy like a chip bite through skin, and this is poofy like Ruffles maybe, but still really good. This has been awesome. I'm gonna live on this success for a while. I will take my pork skin and be quite happy. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. Your support means a lot to me. If you want to follow me other places, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, at Mad Scientist BBQ. Next time, I hope that I have something really awesome to cook like this. But until then, keep smoking.